So right out of the gate, this game exceeded my expectations, but only because my expectations were so low. Now, this isn't a bad game by any stretch of the imagination, but it is the sort of normie, mid-tier, mediocre, end-of-the-year slop that will be forgotten about in a week. In fact, by the time I upload this video, no one will care anymore, so good job, me. This game is also woke, which we'll discuss more later in the video, but it's not overtly in-your-face woke. It's a more subtle but deeply pernicious woke that is much more strategically placed. Machine Games has a history of overtly progressive games. Wolfenstein: The New Colossus and Wolfenstein Youngblood were a progressive, identity politic driven communist wet dream. I don't believe for a second that Machine Games has become less radical in their views. I think that they saw how hated their previous games were and decided to scale back their views. Indiana Jones and the Great Circle is a game that is designed to achieve rave reviews and positive press from the mainstream gaming journalists, but is so vapid to its core that the average gamer's attention span will be far too short to keep it in mind for long. What's going on, guys? It's your boy Drinker here, and before the video begins, please be sure to leave a like, subscribe, turn on post notifications, all that good shit. It really does help the channel grow a ton. We're close to getting the channel monetized as well, so every little bit helps. Please also check out my locals if you wish to support me further. Now let's go ahead and get right into the video. I've seen people say that this game is on the same level or almost as good as Uncharted. Are you smoking crack? Whatever drugs you're on, I would like them because I've never been so optimistically delusional in my life. Are you insane? Are you retarded? This is a level of stupidity that I can't even begin to comprehend. If you're that stupid, you should probably just be executed. Of course, we'll have to censor that because YouTube won't like it, but you get my point. So as I said in the intro, this game isn't awful and certainly isn't without some redeeming qualities. I did beat the game and put about 19 hours into it. First, the game actually ran pretty great on launch day, which was definitely a surprise because that never happens anymore. Now, I didn't play the game early. I played on Games Pass because I wasn't going to buy it and I for sure wasn't going to pay for early access. But the first day the game was available, it ran pretty well and is graphically impressive. The environments are extremely well modeled. However, many environments look generic, which could be an Unreal Engine 5 problem. I find this to be an issue with Unreal Engine 5 in general. The graphical fidelity is often great, but it causes things to look generic and uninteresting. The menu screen seamlessly transitioning into gameplay is a nice touch. It's a hidden loading screen, but I appreciate the effort that it took to implement this feature. I didn't experience too many issues, mostly just a lot of sound glitching in and out, the occasional stutter, and some random T-posing for a split second as well. The combat is goofy and easy, but it's so stupid it can actually be fun. I've said it before and I'll say it again, stupid fun is still fun. The gameplay is kind of easily the worst part of the game. The combat is definitely clunky and the game really discourages gunplay. You're basically forced to use the terrible stealth system and mostly will pick up random objects to knock out enemies with. It can be funny to knock out someone with like a toilet brush, and they have this comical movie sound effects that add to that goofiness. I played on the medium level difficulty, and the game was extremely easy, mostly because of the brain dead AI. You can stealth kill someone right next to someone else, and that other NPC won't notice at all. And if they do notice anything, they also take forever to spot you. The narrative does actually do a decent job of keeping those campy vibes of Indiana Jones. I don't have a huge problem with the story itself, and if it was a movie, it'd probably be a pretty decently solid Indiana Jones movie. It at least seems like they tried to stay somewhat faithful to the source material. The main issue is the characters. Most are not likable. Troy Baker's the voice actor for Indy, and he has to maintain a monotonal voice to keep the Indy voice sounding decent, so a lot of scenes sound flat, and then the scenes with actual emotion, he doesn't sound like Indy. It's hard to do an impression of someone else's voice, and I think Troy Baker did as good of a job as he could do, and it's certainly not an awful performance, but it does often come off flat. It doesn't help that Indy is constantly cucked by strong, independent women. Gina, the main chick with you in the game, is certainly far less annoying than your average girl bosses in most games, but she's still a strong, independent woman who emasculates Indy. The Nazis are easily the most likable characters in the game, especially Voss, the main villain. He's just a based Giga Chad who constantly says base things that are objectively correct. I don't think Machine Games wanted you to end up liking Voss as much as you'll end up liking him. After all, the game is made by people like this.
We have the opportunity to tell a new Indiana Jones story for a modern game.
A fat non-binary they, them, and a Bethesda Pride shirt. When Machine Games have Nazis saying objectively base and correct things, the point is to mock you and to mock your arguments. Machine Games is saying that you sound like a Nazi, which of course is the worst thing you can be. And remember, if you're a Trump supporter, hell, if you're to the right of 2008 Barack Obama, this is how they view you, as a Nazi who needs to be discredited. There are several times throughout the game where they say Nazis don't deserve this, fascists don't deserve that, like when you steal money from them. This is what Machine Games thinks of you. You don't deserve to exist in their modern utopia. I kind of wish this game was more unhinged and blatant with how woke it is, because most of it is just boring. There is a mission where you can whip a black guy though, so never mind, it's game of the year. Just because a game isn't blatantly woke, just because Indiana Jones isn't saving gender queers from Donald Trump's re-election, doesn't mean that the game isn't woke. It's better than a lot of modern games, but there's still a ton of girl bossing, female empowerment, lesbian relationships, and emasculation of straight white men. Some people only want to call it out if it's blatantly in your face, but if it has any subtlety to it, they'll ignore it because it's largely a grift. This is a game that many people have decided to shill. I don't know if it's because they know people aren't going to play the game and it's not horrendous so they can get away with lying, or if they think people will just forget about it, or if there's another reason why they've decided to shill it, but regardless, the reviews are crazy. The game is constantly getting 9 out of 10s by most reviewers.
And I would absolutely recommend this to fans of the series and just people who like enjoying themselves in general. If I didn't have any real-world responsibilities, well, I would have sat here and played through this entire thing in one sitting.
Take it easy!
When the reality is it's just a thoroughly mid game. I don't like to give numbers in reviews, I just like to say what I think and let you come to your own conclusion. But if I had to put a number on it, I would probably give it about a 6. As I've said, it's not an awful game. You won't hate playing it, but it's just really not worth your time. If you enjoyed the video, guys, please be sure to leave a like, subscribe, turn on post notifications, all that good shit. Check out my locals as well. But as always, guys, this has been your boy Drinker, and I'm out of here. Peace.